My name's Kevin, I'm with Align Counseling and Wellness, and today I wanted to talk to you about 5 tips and tricks that we can use to better manage our anxiety. So for our first tip, I tell everyone to stop and breathe. We have a lot going on in our world and we have information hitting us from all different sources. It can be very easy to become overwhelmed. So I think that's where stopping, taking a second to check out of whatever is causing anxiety, whatever is causing you stress, and just focus on your breathing, focusing on your current surroundings, what you're currently engaged in, or what you're currently being affected by. Following that, I like to say, let's challenge our anxious thoughts. Let's look at the evidence. What I mean by that is you're going to look at factual evidence around you, not just how you're feeling inside, but factual evidence around you, and use that as something you can compare your anxiety or the feelings that are attached to your anxiety against. So for example, if I am feeling anxious about doing something new, and I feel like I'm going to completely mess it up, one thing that I can look at is, what does the evidence say? The evidence says that I've practiced, I have laid out my information, and so even though this is a new skill or something that I'm unfamiliar with, I know that I have prepared well for it. And so talking to a group of people about something new isn't all that new because the content is something that I've already gone over. And so that can help me feel more confident in my approach and can be a great way to combat those feelings of anxiety. Let's move on to our third tip for managing anxiety. I think one of the best tools that you can use whenever you're feeling anxious is to look at where you have control and where you don't. A lot of us feel anxious whenever we are in a situation where we don't have a lot of control. So it can be helpful to identify the ways that we don't have control so we can release ourselves from those expectations, but then also pointing out where we do have some sense of control so that we can make notes of how we can impact our surrounding or impact ourselves with the challenges surrounding us. So for example, with the pandemic that we recently experienced, one thing we can say is, I have no control over the pandemic that is happening. However, I do have control over following the guidelines set out by the CDC to ensure safety and well-being for myself and my family. And that gives us a way to manage those anxious feelings whenever they pop up due to things being outside of our control. Moving on to our fourth step, I think we can look at being really mindful of our limits, and setting boundaries for whenever you hit your limits can be one of the most effective tools. We all have a reserve of energy that we can use throughout the day. And as we kind of see those reserves depleted, our anxious energy is often increased. We are often more irritable, we're more drained. And so it is important that whenever we are noticing that we are running out of energy or we're running into a situation that causes a lot of anxiety for us, that we're setting a limit for ourselves or for the people around us so that they know, hey, this is too much for me to handle right now, or this is too much on my plate. I need to come back to this later when I have more energy to give to it, or when I have more time and attention that I can give to it, when I have more space that I can work through whatever's going on. I think you can really measure that by looking at, am I acting out of character or out of value? Am I still acting in alignment with my values? If not, that's a good sign you've hit your limit. Finally, I think the last tip that we should talk about whenever we're talking about managing our anxiety is connecting to our supports. Because our supports are there for that reason. Whenever we are drained, whenever we are down, whenever we're feeling anxious, let's reach out and ask for help. Let's reach out to the people that care about us the most, that feel safe, and say, hey, I'm struggling. I really need a hug, or I really need someone to talk and not judge me. Whatever it may be, your supports are there to support you, so use them. They can be a great resource for managing your anxiety as well. As far as managing anxiety goes, those are the tips I have for you today. If you need anything else, please give me a shout, and I look forward to seeing y'all next time.